your
Good
question.
afternoon,
They are coming
everyone.
to you. You will be the last.
All protocol duly observed. My question, I am Ambassador Eniola Cole. My question is this. One of our speakers on the panel had mentioned how we can get it done in a systematic fashion. And one area that is a lacuna is the area of the wards. We keep saying go to the grassroots to get into politics, but what is the structure for ensuring that there are women even at the ward level, whether it's the council or in the LGA or in the LGC? What is the structure for getting women in there? We mentor students from universities and we have a pool of young women who are interested, but how are we going to get them in there? If at the top we don't have so many women, it means that there is a systemic problem from the grassroots, and we must ensure that we treat it from that angle. Start getting women into the wards, into the LG, so that when it's time for elections, you have people to elect. If not, at the top there will be nobody. So please, let's also, as we push this bill, ensure that we get young women in from the grassroots, and ensure that we also do not jettison God, because it will be an act of God for us to get this bill. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome to Leadership Unscripted. I'm your host, Ambassador Eniola Cole. Today, we're discussing education leadership. Dr. Roderick Palton's experience as Superintendent of District 31 has given him valuable insights into education leadership in New York State of the United States. We'll explore strategies for promoting student success and educational experience, and of course, his rise to leadership story. Listen to what he had to say.
Good day. My name is Dr. Roderick Palton, and I am the proud Superintendent of District 31 in New York State Public Schools. And I'm visiting Nigeria for the first time on my own, just to learn about the culture, because that's what I do every summer. It's a cultural trip. So this time I decided to come home to Nigeria, a place I've never been before, but 33% of my heritage, my ancestry points to Nigeria. You know, I know that I have roots in West Africa, because every DNA test, you know, the commercial ones that you do always point to like Benin, Togo, you know, and those areas. And then it went from like more Benin, Togo to then Nigeria. And then all of a sudden, I guess as more things happen, I suddenly says mostly Nigerian when it comes to my African heritage. So I think leadership in of itself is a very difficult thing, right? And being in education, we have a lot of female leaders in education, as well as male leaders. In fact, some people, it goes back and forth, right? I say with leadership in general, especially for ladies, I feel like emotional intelligence is one of the most important skills to have. Like, know yourself, know what your triggers are, understand that people are going to make mistakes, be forgiving when possible, but also you just want to lift people up in the process. I have to be honest, when I look at some leadership books, they talk about female leaders being more emotional, and not in a bad way, but more nurturing and understanding, which is true. But also that emotional intelligence helps keep a balance between, you know, there's a good balance. Like, you have to have a good balance in leadership. Like, you have to know when to be nurturing, when not to be nurturing, and how to lead not with your title, but with who you are as a person. Everything I am in life today, I didn't plan it. I didn't ask for it. I didn't want it. And I say I didn't want it in the sense of I didn't actively seek leadership positions. I think one of the things that I pride myself on, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it well. It doesn't matter whether it's scrubbing the toilet or being a superintendent, right? I'm going to put my all into it, and I've been that way for a very long time. Certainly, I knew that I didn't want to necessarily clean toilets for a living. Not that I knock anyone that does that, because I've done that. I mean, I did it for free when I was in the military. So my rise to leadership was really grounded in just putting in the work, letting people see what you could do, not necessarily hearing what you could do, but seeing what you could do. Because I think that's the biggest asset that you could have, is to do the work, not talk about doing the work. And I've done that, and I think people see that, and then they'll call me, this person is leaving, you should apply for this job. I'm like, okay. Then it happened again, this person's leaving, you should apply for this job. I'm like, okay. And then this happened again, and that's literally how I became in this position. New York City has 45 amazing superintendents. We follow the lead of the chancellor. Shout out to the chancellor, she's dope. And it's a unique structure. There's nothing, I don't think there's any other structure that exists in that way. And I happen to lead the biggest of them all, with the most of everything. Probably the most problems too, think about it. But I attend a lot of events, a lot of meetings with community members, a lot of things at the school level, football games, basketball games. And I don't have to attend a lot of those things, but I think it's important in building community to be seen in the community, be part of the community. So I try to support as many things. I speak at churches because, people want to know, they have questions, and we just set up opportunities for them for their questions to be answered, and so on and so forth. So, but I always tell people that I did it my way doesn't mean that's going to be the way that works for them. So I'll start off with that. I'll also say never accept no for an answer, and don't think that someone's going to tell you no. Because when I went and asked that superintendent for my principal job that I had, I didn't know what his answer was going to be. But I also know that he has never told me no before, right? In the sense of I've never asked him for it, so he can't tell me no. So if I ask him for it and he says no, I've lost nothing. I'm still up. I still love being a teacher. So I always say, don't be afraid of the word no. Being a response, because you don't know what it is that they're going to tell you when you go and seek a position, right? And you have to be confident enough of yourself that you know the answer is not going to be no, because you know your worth. And even if it is no, it's their loss, not yours. You just gained an experience, whether it's an interview, whether it's just the feeling of being rejected, because you have to learn how to lose before you can win. And once you get through all of those things, I think it's easier to get ahead, because you've had those experiences of losing, getting the no's, and so forth. So one of the things I enjoy doing is mentoring others. I mean, I've mentored actually a young brother. I think he's Nigerian. His family is, at least. He just, since I started in my position, actually when I got to that district, I came in as a deputy superintendent in 2023. And this young man, started talking to me and so on, and he wanted leadership position. So I said to him, and some opportunities came up, and I said to him, just don't jump at any leadership opportunity. Make sure it's the right one. And I also said to him, don't go chasing it. Let it come to you, because you'll know when it's right. And when I say that, I meant to say some people go chasing an opportunity, right? And then they don't focus on what they're doing now. And then they have a misstep in their now job, which prevents them from getting their later job, if that makes sense. So I said, it's the right position. So anyway, he went on a couple of interviews, and through the interview process, someone saw him and took an interest in him, another principal, and now he's going to become the assistant principal. And it's, like I said, I got there in 2023, it's 2025, almost 2 years later. But I said to him, the right opportunity, you don't want an opportunity, you want the right opportunity. And it's going to come to you when the time is right. So here he is, 35, 36 years old, going into this leadership position. And that came through, and he thanked me, for being his mentor and so on, because what mentoring is to me is not telling you how to do it, right? But giving you advice as to things to consider, right? I'm not going to dictate to anybody what to do, how to do it, so I'm going to give you advice, right? That ask you those questions and so on and so forth. So I would do that for a male or a female. So I would love to mentor someone from Nigeria, for sure.
Thank you, Dr. Roderick Palton, for sharing your expertise and your experience. Your commitment to student success is truly inspiring. I've been your host, Ambassador Eniola Cole, right here on the show, Leadership Unscripted. Bye for now.